Yeah.
All right, awesome. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for logging on tonight. Tonight, we will have Miss Clarabelle Martinez, who works over at the Suffolk County Community College Entrepreneurial Assistance Center, help you run through small business taxes and sales taxes. So, Miss Clarabelle, when you are ready, you can go ahead take over. I will monitor the chat, the Q&A, and if anybody wants to raise their hands for any questions.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you so much. Good evening. My name is Clarabelle. I am a business counselor here at the Entrepreneur Assistance Center. I'm also an accountant. I know that a lot, like the last time we did, I did an overview over tax and I covered like all taxes, but I wanted to kind of hone in on one specific tax. So today I chose sales tax. If you guys want to me to pick a different type of tax, like income tax for the next webinar or like payroll tax or something like that, you guys can just, I guess we can talk about it later on in the Q&A. So today we're just going to talk about sales tax. Just want to cover the basics of what is sales tax and what your role as a small business owner is when it comes to collecting sales tax and paying on time and making sure that you're compliant with the state that we're in. Everybody here has a business in New York, I'm assuming, right? If not, I guess put it in the chat which state you're in. Okay, so let's go to the next one. So my name is Claribel Martinez, business counselor. So basics. Also going to speak a little bit about multi-state sales tax because even though we might be based on New York, if we're selling online to other states and shipping to other states, we might be liable for collecting sales tax in those states depending on your volume of sales, right? So I just wanted to speak. I'm also going to touch on that later on too. So first of all, what is sales tax? So a sales tax is you as the business owner collect it from the customer on sales. So you make a sale. When you charge the sale, you have to also add on sales tax and you collect it from your customer and you pay it to your state. So basically whatever the state, especially New York, they take it very, very seriously when you collect sales tax that you pay them on time because it's not like income tax that you can say, oh, I don't have whatever sales tax. Since they assume that you're collecting it from the customer, they really don't want to hear that you don't have it because they said you collected it from the customer. So where is it? So you always have to make sure that you have enough cash on hand to pay your sales tax liability, whether it's due monthly, quarterly, or whatever you're assigned. So this is basically if you're not registered as a business owner, like if your business is not registered yet, this is the third thing you would do. So the first thing you would do is register with your state as a business. Then you register with the IRS to get your EIN number, and the third thing, sorry, is register to get your sales tax certificate. Once you have your sales tax certificate, that means that you can collect sales tax in that state. If you don't have a sales tax certificate, then you cannot collect sales tax. Does that make sense? Does anybody have any questions on that before we move on to the next slide? Okay. So the New York State sales tax right now is at 4% base. And then there's also local taxes depending on what city or county you're in. For New York City, it could be up to 8.75%. Suffolk County is 3.8% local tax and a 38.38 transit tax, which brings you to 8.76. I believe Nassau is 8.63. So any accounting system that you use, QuickBooks, whatever, should be able to calculate these for you depending, if you program the state that you're selling in. So you don't have to manually figure out how much sales tax you should be collecting on sales, or any point of system that you have should be able to have this already calculated into it. So you can sell and collect your sales tax. I would say as a business owner, when you do have your sales, like let's say every dollar you have to 8.7, whatever, put a little bit of money aside. So when you have to file your taxes, you already have it there, and then you're not, struggling to find it. It's already put aside. You can even have a separate account for it, or for your tax liabilities, including sales tax, income tax, or whatever. And that way you have that money aside, and you know that money is for that specifically.
We do have a question.
Oh yes, hi. What's the question?
I've tried numerous times to get a TID and was told that my EID is the same thing. Is this correct? If not, how do I get one? I'm a dog trainer and pet sitter.
Yes. So if you have like an EIN number, this is your tax ID number. You just have to go, if you're in New York State, into the New York State website, and it says collect sales tax. Actually, let me see if I can find it for you. See what I can actually look it up, see, so you can see what it looks like. Let me just look it up for you real quick. Let's see. So if you go here, this is a New York State website. You already have your tax ID number, your EIN number, just like a 11 dash whatever, right? So you go here and see where it says here, register as a sales tax vendor. So you just click on this. And then right here, you can apply online. So I'll just put the link on here for you. Does that answer your question? Okay, you're welcome. Okay, so back here. So once you have this, so you will get a certificate in the mail. Once you register, you'll get a certificate in the mail, which is something that you wouldn't hang up on your business, saying that you can collect sales tax in New York, that you're certified, that you have your certificate, you are allowed to collect sales tax. There's instructions right here and everything. So once you collect your sales tax, you have your product, you sell it, and then also get familiar with what's taxable and what's not taxable. Take a minute, depending on your business. There are things that are taxable and things that are not taxable. Like, for example, coffee in New York is not taxable, right? Unless it's prepared. There's like a list of things here that if you go here to this is the sales tax homepage. So just take a minute and go through this and see this is new vendors here, and just read through on what's record keeping and all these things, teach you what's taxable and what's not taxable. There are lists, right? Use tax exempt certificate sales and tax credits, right? I'm gonna link that here. Okay. So let's continue. Oh, took me back. I was here, right? So here. Okay, so this is the link that I just put in there. So if you sell anything in New York, if you have a shop or office or warehouse, you get your certificate of authority from New York State website, which is what I just put here. And then you register and you get that, and then you start. Once you have your certificate, you put it up in your business and you can collect sales tax. And once you register, they'll tell you how often you have to file. So normally they start you off monthly, and if you have quarterly, I believe. And if they tell you quarterly, and then depending if you have like a lot of sales, they might want it monthly. If you don't have enough, they might switch it to annually, but they'll let you know ahead of time. So this is how you collect it. You charge sales tax when you sell it. You charge it to your customer. You keep records of everything you've collected, and then you file online. You file monthly or you file quarterly. So, and don't miss your deadlines. You can file here too. This is the same website. Filing, right? Okay. It tells you right here, you have instructions. It's very, very, very easy. It walks you right through it. On how to file, you have to make an account, and then you go in and it'll ask you questions. How many sales did you have? And it'll kind of calculate it for you. You just have to put in the numbers of how many sales you had for that quarter or that year. And they'll tell you, and if you file on time, they'll give you a credit. So like I think it's like 200, around 200, or depending on, or less depending on how much sales you had or how much taxes you collected. So back to
Hello?
yes, hi.
Hi.
Pat.
Can you hear me? It sounds a little scratchy.
Yes, I can hear you.
So I'm a little confused about the sales tax because I asked my accountant about this because I have a home baking business and I sell to like private customers and a couple of like coffee shops where coffee shops, they actually charge sales tax for their items. When I purchase all of my ingredients, I pay sales tax.
Okay,
So
yes.
I do home baking, and my accountant told me that because it's a small home baking business that I have to charge sales tax.
You're selling to
So,
you're registered, right? You have a sales tax certificate.
so I have an EIN number. Yep.
Okay, and you have that you register with this to get, you have your sales tax certificate also, right?
I know I think I have my certificate somewhere. I don't remember ever getting that, to
Do
be
you
honest.
remember going to this website and registering us
Well,
to?
I've been filing sales tax for years because
Okay,
my business
okay,
was dormant for a few years. I used to have a coffee truck, and now I started doing some online stuff until I find a location. So I had this question with my accountant. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. I said, because I'm home based. And he
right.
said, yeah, but you're selling to the public. You're selling to like private clients, and you're also selling to like coffee shops and things like that. You have to collect sales tax and pay it.
So
I Go
you do
ahead.
have to collect sales tax and pay it unless the coffee shop gives you like an exempt certificate.
Right, that I know, but I just want to
Right?
make sure, like when I'm selling to like my private clients, the coffee shop I know because there's no way they're tax exempt because they're not doing business with a school and things like that. It's not like catering or, a
Right,
tax exempt organization. I understand that. My
right.
concern is when I do like private clients that I'm able, like my hairdresser and, friends and things like that, I'm still collecting sales tax and I'm paying it.
Yes, you would either collect sales tax, add it to your price, or
Yes.
include it in your price. And you have to make sure when you sell to them and your receipt says tax included, just in
Yeah.
case the New York State ever
Yeah, no, I've already was in an audit with one of my companies. I know. Yep, everything is line itemed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so yes, you do have to collect sales tax because you're
Okay.
selling to clients, and you have to collect that also. So when you buy your and you also have your exempt certificate, right? When you buy your ingredients,
No, my ingredients, I pay taxes.
you shouldn't. So
I don't have it.
you
Why
can
I don't have a tax exempt. Why would I have when it's a home base?
because you're buying it, right? It's part of your baking process, right? So,
Yes.
so sales tax is paid by the last customer, right? The final customer. So since you're reselling it, you're not the final customer, your customer is, right?
So I'm buying my ingredients like in like, home restaurant depot or, one of the supermarkets and stuff because I don't do a lot. It's not massive.
So like for example, restaurants, when they go to like these, they buy it with their tax and search certificate. So you can fill this out. I actually have the form right here. I can attach it for you.
Okay.
You can show it to your accountant and, get, and you'd ask them about it, but since you're not the final customer, right? Your customer is, sales tax should only be collected once, not 2 or 3 times, right? So like, let's say, for example, let's say your car dealer, like a car manufacturer, right? They're not paying taxes. The final customer who buys that car is not every step of the way, like if the tires or whatever, all that, everything that goes in the car doesn't pay sales tax, only the final customer. Does that make sense?
So when I buy the ingredients, I'm not supposed to be paying sales tax?
No, you have to give them an exempt certificate for them to exempt you, because then you get, it's for basically for resale. And there's 2 of them. There's 2 in New York. One that you buy the stuff and you resell it as it is, and there's another one if you're buying the ingredients for whatever you're selling. So let me just look it up for you.
Okay.
I actually have them both saved up.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me just, like, where can I find this? I'm trying to, oh, here we go, documents. So here's the first one, and they're fillable. And you can find these in the New York State website.
Okay.
Here's the other one. So like here, right? You register for sales tax, right? This explains the sale. See this, how do you register all this, right? So let's go back, right, to sales tax. Here, I just want to show you. I'm trying to see where they have their
Clarabelle, can you
business.
put those last 2 attachments to everybody? It just went to the hosts.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Everyone. Okay, sorry. Okay. Okay, so and I'm gonna show you what they look like, right? You just open up my.
Yeah, I mean, I know what they look like because I've done that when I worked in construction and we did like school projects and things like that. And we had to fill out for materials, the ST 120 with the tax exempt, letter from the school or the hospital or whatever.
Okay, so.
But I don't know why I would pay sales tax. Yeah, because I don't know why I would be exempt.
Right, because it's part of your production, right?
Yes.
This is ingredients for your production. So like where I work right now, right? We're a manufacturing company. This is where I'm a staff accountant. Anything that we buy for manufacturing, we don't pay sales tax on, because we sell to other businesses. So we manufacture a product, we sell it to a business, and then we collect the sales tax from them. So we don't pay sales tax and then go and collect sales tax again, right?
Oh. So I've been paying all these sales tax.
Right. So then let me see if you're a home base. So if I can find some guidance. If you go to here, you can find something. I know there's a place where you can find, depending on businesses. Let me see if I can find something for home-based bakery for you. See if I can find you something. These are just that list. So there's also a list of exempt foods that don't pay sales tax right here. Right?
Okay.
So I guess I knew this publication also. see if I can find it for you. Let me save it and I'll send it to you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
You want me to put my email address down?
No, I'll just attach it here.
Okay.
Mhm. So here you go.
Okay.
So then, so since so in your case, right, you're buying flour or whatever, right?
Yep.
So you use this, the ST121, right?
Right.
Let me, okay, which is okay. That's right. So you will go here, and you see you right here. You're filling your your information, who you're buying it from, and over here, parts, tools, and supplies used or consumed in the production of tangible personal property for sale in the not that one.
No, I think it's that
Tools and personal property in the production of gas, electricity, or steam for sale. You just have to find the one that applies to you.
one. Okay.
And yes, because normally we use this one.
Yeah, that's what I use for when I work for somebody.
Used as consuming the production of tangible. So yeah, this one, yeah. So yeah, this is anything machinery, equipment, parts, tools, and supplies used or consumed in the production of tangible personal property for sale in the production of gas, electric, refrigerator, or steam for sale. Enter certificate here, right?
Okay.
And then this is for film. So and then also you can use this one, the ST120. So those but consult with your, you have the list of non-taxable food products, right, in New York here.
Okay.
And then food stores, and down here you have a little bit more, right?
Okay.
For restaurants, see the establishments right here. So this will be, you won't want to look at something like this down here, just click on it, right?
Okay.
And they'll tell you, like, see, for resale, see, sales for resale. So restaurant styles, they'll tell you, right? Bulletin cafeterias, taverns, delis, right? Restaurant type food, sandwiches, whatever. Sales for resale. Restaurants may sell otherwise restaurant type food or resale provided gives the seller a property to complete a ST120. You see that? The certificate will collect tax when the items are resold at retail. So this is kind of similar to what you're doing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'll ask him. Thank you.
Okay, sure. You're welcome.
I do have two other questions for you.
Sure.
The first one says, what about sales tax regarding a digital product? For example, you edit a book and deliver the manuscript as a digital copy. Hard copies, like a printout, are taxed, but digital used to not be taxed. Has this changed, or are we taxing for digital now?
I'm not sure about digital because I don't really deal too much with that. Because it's a service, so you have to go to, like, where you're servicing it. It's a service, right? Your business is a service, or you're selling a digital copy of something.
It says there, it looks like they're doing a digital copy of a product. So it'll be like an ebook rather than a hard covered book.
Oh, okay, got it. Let's see, we can look it up. I haven't really seen much of this, but
it's a service with a digital output.
Oh, okay, yes. Let's see. Digital books, right? They're books.
Yes, this example uses a book.
So New York ebook and other digital products are subject to tax. Yeah, however, if an ebook is considered educational or instructional, it may be exempt. So it all depends on what I guess unless it's educational, yeah. So let's see what it says here. Here's your the reference guide right here. Here's a quick reference for taxable. Right here. So this, you could go exactly here by list. There's like a list right here. I'm going to just put the link here. So it looks like, yes, unless it's used for educational purposes, and yes, you would have to charge sales tax remember, to the final customer, unless they're reselling it and they give you an exempt certificate.
Thank you. And the next question says, so if I decide to sell dog training products, like the ones I would recommend, then I would be exempt from paying them the taxes and have my clients pay for the taxes at that time?
Yes. Yes. You just have to make sure that your business is registered, you have a certificate, you have your tax ID number, and you fill out the ST-120 and give it out to whatever vendor you're buying from. Make sure you collect, and when you collect sales tax, then you file your sales tax and you pay it to the state, whatever you collect from your customer.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So yes, so then what else? What's the next thing? So if you're selling in other states, like I said, every state has their own sales tax rate. Everybody is not the same rate as New York. So like I said, that's why you have to keep good records of where you're selling. And nowadays, you have to have like some type of point of service or like somewhere to keep track of all your sales and where you're selling. So you might have to owe tax in those states too, depending on how much volume of sales, or if you have what is called nexus in the state. So you have nexus in a state when you have like a certain presence and you go over a certain threshold. So it depends on 3 things. And that is, see if I have it. So you can have physical nexus. 2 things is by having a store in that state or having an employee in that state. Okay, or if you go to like a trade show or participate in a trade show, an event like a trade show or whatever in that state, you have a lot of sales there. Or if you have constant sales in that one state and you have what is economic sales, which means you have a lot of sales, which each state has its own threshold for sales. And this is the website that I use to check. Like at the end of the year, I check my total sales. We check our total sales for the year and see if we sold enough, if we have to register in any new states. So at the end of the year, after you file your income tax, you see how much sales you had for the people who sell online, and check to see if you're over that limit where you have to register. And this is the sorry, trying to get the link on there.
I have another quick question that popped up.
Sure.
If you buy from another vendor or small business, do they have to accept the tax exempt even if they're not a wholesaler?
Yeah, yes, they should accept it if you give it to them. I don't see why they wouldn't accept it. Right, it doesn't affect them. So this is the reuse, and it has a list of states and what the threshold is. So like, let's say Alabama right here is if you have more than $250,000 a year in sales, this is the minimum. Alaska, some states don't collect sales tax, as is the case right here. Delaware, they do not collect sales tax. So you never have to register there. Florida's 100,000. So it depends on how much economic sales you have in that state. Once you go over that, and I'll also put the link for this, then you would have to register in that state. And then you would, each state has their own, if you're buying to resell, you have your own, each state has its own certificate. You can just go online and find their certificate, but you would collect here and then you would file taxes with that state also every month. So once you have a lot of sales, you do have to register. For example, I just finished filing sales tax for my other job. We're currently up on to 25 states sales tax. And it's a lot because some states, like for example, Colorado, it's a little tricky because they have not only do they have state tax, but they have a lot of city taxes. So depending if you're selling in multiple cities, and their state tax are due monthly for us, but some other cities are due quarterly and some other cities are due annually. So we have to keep track of all that stuff. That's why for business owners, keeping good records is really, really good, because you want to be on top of these things, right? And of course, like, with a simple POS system, you have all these records. But this is the state. So this is the site, and you can check to see if you have enough of a presence in that state that you have to file to collect sales tax. So once again, you either have physical nexus, which means you have a location in that state. You have an employee, because like I say, if you have employees that work for you and they travel or whatever, or you attended a specific trade show, not like once, but you have a presence there annually, like every year you go for a trade show, you have a lot of sales like that. You would have to, speak the details of your sales with your accountant, but they will let you know. And then you can have economic sales, which means you have a lot of sales in that state. Okay. Any other questions?
Nothing right now.
Okay. So after 2018, because it was a court case, which is called Wayfair, states can tax online sales. And this is I just put the link here. So if you guys want to look at it, what this look like, it's like this. For you guys who like to know about these things. So before that, we didn't have to collect on internet sales, but now, yes, they said that you have to collect on these online sales, even if you don't have a store in that state. Okay. So next. Okay, so how do you handle your multi-state sales tax? So first of all, if you decide, so yearly, if you're selling online, like I said, if you're selling to multiple states outside of New York, you have to check the list, see if you're over that threshold. If you discover, okay, I have a lot of sales in X state, then you could go online to their website and you could register as an outside vendor and just start paying sales tax. Collecting sales tax, and you pay it to them. So you register in that state where you have the nexus, right? Then you can use this tax tools like TaxJar or QuickBooks, whatever you use, and then just to help you keep up with your liability for each state, right? We use my company, my manufacturing company, we use I have an Excel spreadsheet, but I prepare the sales tax. We prepare them ourselves, but we don't file them ourselves, because I suggest you prepare them and you give them to, and then once you have them prepared, you give them to your accountant to file. That way you have somebody else that represents you. That's what we do. We prepare everything. We just give it prepared to this company. It's called Vertex, and they file for us. So if there are any issues, they'll answer it on our behalf. Okay. So you talk to your accountant and they'll do that. So if you just give them all your receipts to your accountant, it's going to be very expensive, because they're going to have to sit there and go through your receipts and calculate things. But if you prepare yourself, QuickBooks is very good for this. You can prepare your list of sales tax. If you only have sales in New York, it's very easy. You can prepare it yourself, have your accountant just look it over before you file. And then just give it to them and have them just file it for you. Any questions? No? Okay. So here are some tips. So you make sure you use a point of system sales that can calculate sales tax, because especially if you're selling, like I said, in different states, because different states have different different tax rates, different city rates, different local tax rates. Some states might be due quarterly, some states might do monthly, some states might be due yearly. So, and like you could have one state where you have to file quarterly, and then you have another state where you have to file monthly. So you have to really have good records and make sure that you're filing on time, that you don't have fees and things like that. And also most states give you a credit for filing on time. So, and then you usually you stay up to date. Laws change. So normally when you do register in a state, you would get email every time there's something new, right? Every time there's a new like rate change or whatever, you would get an email about it. So you would just have to make sure you stay on top of checking your emails and things like that, or they'll mail. Sometimes they mail it too. They do both. So you have to make sure you stay on top of these things, your tax rate change and things like that. Say if you need help. Okay, this is your state's website. Okay, I think here. Okay. This is the Department of Taxation and Finance. Okay. Go to business, sales and use tax right here. It tells you everything you need to know. Get familiar with this page. This page, it has the tax rates, okay, how to file, your due dates, right? Tax forms, credits. They even have like videos over here that you can that you can watch. Tax exempt certificates, right? Good record. Like, look, this video right here. If you have a minute, we can watch it. Talk about certificates, right? Because I know you guys have questions about the certificates, so I don't know if you can hear it. Can you hear that?
It's all over you.
No.
I think, let me see something. I know I have to, okay, how about now?
Vendors must collect state and local sales
Yes.
tax on all taxable sales. However, certain organizations and businesses can make tax-free purchases by using an exemption certificate. To claim an exemption for an otherwise taxable purchase, the buyer must fill out the appropriate exemption certificate and give it to the seller within 90 days of the sale. Otherwise, both the buyer and seller could be held liable for the sales tax. The certificate must be completed properly and signed by an authorized representative of the party claiming the exemption. A seller may only accept an exemption certificate in good faith, meaning they have no reason to believe that the certificate is fraudulent. However, a seller has the right to refuse an exemption certificate even if it's correct and properly completed. In that case, the buyer must pay the sales tax and then apply for a refund from the tax department afterward. Once a tax-exempt sale is made, the seller must keep the exemption certificate with their records for at least 3 years from the date they report the sale on their sales tax return. The seller's records should also associate the certificate with the proof of sale, like a register receipt or sale invoice. Meanwhile, the buyer must ensure the purchased goods are actually used for tax-exempt purposes. If they are not, then the buyer must pay the sales tax due directly to the tax department. It's important that both the buyer and seller exercise good judgment when using an exemption certificate. The tax department may impose severe penalties on those who knowingly issue or accept fraudulent certificates. And keep in mind that some products and services are always exempt from sales tax. An exemption certificate is only needed for sales that are normally taxable. To learn about the different kinds of exemption certificates and their requirements, see our sales tax bulletin. exemption certificates for sales tax. Available on our website at www.
All right, so this is the website.
New York State. Vendors must collect state and
Sorry.
local sales tax on all taxable sales. However,
Okay, here we go. And there's also use tax. So use tax, sometimes, like, let's say if you often buy from a vendor and you can give them you could give them a one-time certificate, or you could give them like a blanket certificate. That means that everything you buy from them is going to be taxable. But one time you buy something from them that you know is taxable and they didn't charge you sales tax, you can report that as use tax on when you go file, and then you will pay tax yourself on that because they should have charged you sales tax and they didn't. So you could, there's a part when you go file, I don't know if I can show you the file without making so the sales tax web file is like this. You have to create an account, but they will show you like exactly, you have to subscribe. You have to make an account, but it'll show you here that, look, this even is where you put like the amount of taxable purchases you have. It'll say taxable purchase and you put the amount there. So also you could do that for when you have taxable purchases that they didn't charge you sales tax for. So on the SBA, you could go also, and you could go to your accountant or tax pro if you don't want to feel like doing this alone. You can go to your tax accountant and ask questions. They should be able to answer all your questions. I always tell everybody, don't be afraid to go to your tax accountant and ask them all the questions you need. They're there to help you. That's what they're there for. That's why you pay them, right? And so yeah, that's pretty much it. I just want to leave the rest for conversations and questions. For sales tax. So if you guys want to unmute and say your questions or your comments.
I have one question.
Sure.
Okay. On one part, I'm told that pet sitting is not a taxable service, yet dog training is. How is that? How would I go about?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. But what is taxable?
Dog training service is, but pet sitting service is not taxable. How do I go about doing that?
Oh, it's not taxable? You were told by your accountant?
By the IRS site. Says dog training is, but pet sitting is not.
Okay, so then you would have to, right, keep track of how much sales comes from one thing and how much sales comes from the other thing, right? You have to track your sales from each service. So when you track your income and your income statement, right, you don't just put them all together. You will have to put income from trading and income from this, and you have two incomes on your when you keep your books.
But that sounds different. I'm doing basically the same thing. I'm taking care of a dog as a pet sitter, but I'm training a dog as a trainer. What's the difference they're both services? They're not tangible property.
Right. I'm not exactly sure why there's a difference for that. Sometimes these are just regulations that the state sets up, Okay.
So I still haven't figured out where to find the paperwork for that. So.
For training?
Yeah.
Oh. And you're in New York, right?
Yes. Long Island.
Have you looked in the New York State website?
Yeah.
And what have you found?
That I need the EIN number, which I have. And then it tells me to download Form SS4. But I already have the EIN number, and that's as far as I get. I haven't found anything else on where I'm supposed to. I have a separate account just for taxes, but I haven't found out where to get this information to tell my clients also. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see.
Maybe I'm just looking up the wrong terminology.
There's something else. Let's do something else. Is this is like a court thing.
Yeah.
Here's the dog sitting. Let's see what this website says. This is not New York State. There's request of income from sitting to be reported whether it's at one time or steady. At least 400 in income is classified as self-employment income, making it subject to both income and self-employment. But this is income tax. This is talking about income tax, not sales tax. Right. This is for income tax purposes.
Yes.
I'm not sure about sales tax though. For that thing, I'm going to look at the under. If I can look it up here, see if they have anything on it here, New York State. See, not sure about pet sitting, but let's see what else.
It says dog training is taxable, but it says pet sitting services are not. But then it says unless, and then it just confuses the heck out of me.
It's just giving me this right here.
So I'm not the only one that can't find it.
Yeah, no. Sometimes it's hard. You have to really do your research to find specifics. Even in the New York State, they just gave me this court opinion right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to call New York State too. So I found that I just call up the state and ask them.
Okay.
Specific questions, yeah. Like today, this morning, I was on the phone all morning with Missouri because I'm trying to register for sales tax in their state, and they're making it so difficult for me.
Yes.
I think out of all the 25 states, Missouri's been the most difficult one to me so far. I'm like, I don't know. Do you guys not want your money?
I know I'm not in Missouri.
Yeah, I know. We just had a lot of sales in Missouri, and I'm trying to register, and they won't let, like everybody else will let me just register for sales tax. For them, no, you have to get like some type of authority number, like register your business in Missouri, and then they give you like this number. I forgot what they call it, and then once you have that number, then you can register for sales tax. And they charged me like $130, and they already denied it twice on technicalities. So I just refiled again today.
And if I wanted to move there, they'd be taxing my New York State retirement. So no, I'm staying out of Missouri.
Yes, I will stay out of Missouri. I think so far, one of my favorite states for sales tax is Minnesota. They're very easy, very straightforward. And my sales tax is always very easy with them. Some states are like that. Some states are easy. Some states are difficult. So you just have to this where keeping good records comes in, making sure that you're staying on top of the different tax rates, and also they change them. Like sometimes every year they change. Like New York State was 1.625, and now it's 1.75. They just changed that right now and starting in March. So yeah, you have to just. But I got the email about it, so I know that to stay on top of it, and it's already coded into our system, so it's automatically charged, and it's already automatically upgrades it, so we don't have to worry about that. We use a system called SAP, and it calculates all these taxes for us. Thank God, so good. So yes, any other questions or?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. If you guys, I know we're gonna be doing some more webinars. If there are any other tax or accounting topics that you guys would like to hear, I would love to hear about them. I'm trying to put together some more webinars, but I wanted to ask if there's anything that you guys specifically will want to learn more about. Then you can put it in the comments, I guess. I'll write them down. Also, I'm gonna give you how to file business. Oh, you mean income taxes, or specifically, or any taxes? Income taxes? Okay, all right. So income taxes. What kind of business do you have? Is it an LLC, or do you not have a business yet? Or do you have a business registered? LLC, okay. Okay, so yes, all right. So I'll get to work on that. Income tax, interesting. So next webinar, Jen, if that's okay with you, maybe we can speak about specifically income tax.
Definitely. We will be scheduling more webinars, and then all of the registrations will be posted on our website.
This is my email. If you know, sometimes you leave and you think of a question that you didn't think to ask here, right? Or any question at all, any tax questions at all, don't hesitate to shoot me an email, even if it's like not even tax questions, like bookkeeping questions, anything, just general questions, just anything, just email me. Try to answer, my emails as soon as possible. So yes, or if you want to meet with me, go over your books or your anything like that, right? Calculations, your income statements, things like that, your financial statements, you want me to review your taxes, whatever. Any questions at all, just general questions, you can email me. Any general accounting questions.
I have a quick question before you hang up.
Sure.
So I know you're talking about, the tax exempt on the food products for my baking business. What about for the materials I purchase as well, like the pans, like any type of paper goods? Is that
if anything that's used in your production should be tax exempt.
Okay.
What's not exempt is like general purchases, right? Like your pens, things that are not directly.
Right, I don't produce the product, like my baking pans and my throwaways, my liners and things like that.
Right, yes, things that are directly, right, linked to your production, I exempt. So like even like if you're able to calculate how much electricity you use running your ovens, you can write that part of that off, but that's where your income tax.
That's my income tax. I already did that.
Yeah, so like things like that, right? So like, but for sales tax wise, when you go purchase anything that is directly linked to your production, then that will be exempt.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Good night.
Good night.
Thank you, Clarabelle, for your presentation, and thank you everyone for coming on and asking your wonderful questions.
Yes. Thank you for having this.
Seeing you in the future.
Thank you for having me tonight.
Thank you so much for everybody for coming. I appreciate it. I really hope that this helps